Welcome. Seagull saying it's time to start. Dustin said.
Yep.
I wonder if they can hear that. You think they can?
What?
The seagull?
I don't know. Maybe.
It sounds like it's right outside our window. They're our friends.
Our friends.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay.
It's quite, it's kind of it was a weird, lazy day. What did we do this weekend?
Nothing.
Was there? Oh, it was raining. It was raining all weekend. It rained all last week.
Yeah.
So we're getting the spring rain
out of the way.
I wonder, have you looked? Are we still in a drought?
Mm-hmm.
We are, technically. Oh,
mm-hmm.
My hands don't mind that because they don't feel the drought anymore. Wow. Okay, I have to slow my mind down. Do you want me to go first? Highlight, low light.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Wow.
Wow.
You've heard about it too many times already. Do you know what I'm gonna say?
I think so.
Disney did it again. Disney, you did it again because, first of all, we're late to the game because Wish, the movie Wish, came out last year. I think it was...
Oh, that was last year?
It was this past November, I think it came out. But, I think a lot of the people of the world, we only watched it when it came on the streaming service, Disney Plus. So, naturally, cheap. We didn't go see it in theaters, and I'm saving that for Twisters 2. I have to go see that in theaters. Have to. But anyway, Wish. I could dissect every song probably way too intensely. And maybe it's just me, but I really think they were going for a big, broader perspective meaning of the movie besides the obvious. So it was is it Centennial? I thought that was 7.
No, Centennial's 100.
No. Well, what's the 60 years worth of Disney? I thought you read it was Centennial. Or was it Centennial?
It was Centennial.
I don't know.
Because a century is 100 years. So Centennial, because I think because last year was the 100 years or year before.
Oh. So
I thought.
So it is 100 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie was partially made because they were celebrating 100 years of Disney. So they did a bunch of, I don't know if Easter egg is the right term.
Yeah.
It really?
Yeah.
I feel like Easter egg is like a hint to something else coming. I thought it was more, they were more like innuendos.
No, I mean, sometimes Easter eggs can be more subtle, like a figurine on a table from a different franchise, or like a symbol on a book that you're passing. It's sometimes they're more subtle, but they can also hide it in dialogue and stuff.
But in Easter, Taylor Swift claims that she has Easter eggs in her album songs, and I just feel like they mean different things. I'll have to look it up. I won't. But so
yeah, Easter egg is more a nod to other franchises or other movies or other pop culture.
I guess basically. I thought it had a different name. But yes, so besides all of those in the movie, which they did on purpose. So many! You could play bingo! With all the Easter eggs from other Disney things. The songs are great. Ariana DeBose is amazing. I want to see her in more things. She was in Maria. No, what am I talking about? She was West Side Story, Disney version of... She played Maria, and I really thought she was going to be in Wicked, but I guess not. Maybe she is. I keep looking at the casting, and I don't think she's in it. But that's Ariana Grande. But one of the songs that gets me crying every time is the one by Julia Michelson, the one that does the few covers on the album. She's got the Wish Worth Making song, and it just gets me crying every time. And I have to I know. This is riveting. You're falling asleep. It's just so good. Like I have to remind myself that like not I guess not everyone thinks this way of like having something they care about like so much that it makes your heart break. And that's what the song talks about.
Mm.
It's like you care about something so much that every time you think about it, it like just makes you so overcome with emotion. And not everyone feels that way. And I have to remember that. But I guess I'm glad. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't wish I didn't feel that way, because having that such high of emotions, you know, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because you can be really high, but then you can be really low. And it's a beautiful thing, but it does make life kind of difficult sometimes for normal daily activities. That was my highlight. That's been like, I've been obsessing over that movie for the last 3 weeks.
Well, you've seen it what, twice so far?
Yeah, 2-3 times, and I have the soundtrack just constantly playing. The lyrics, just go listen to the soundtrack. Low light. Well, we have a new neighbor. Not for long, because we're moving, so we won't have to deal with him for much longer. But would you like to hear my nickname for him? That I've been waiting to tell you? There's 2. We can vote. 1. Because, well, okay. It's a he. He's very loud. Very large sounding, probably furry and burly. Don't know. But he's also an artist, as our landlord told us.
Supposedly.
We don't know what kind of artist. I'm making an assumption. So
he throws stuff at the wall.
Wait, what?
I don't know. There's a lot of banging and clanging going on over
I know.
there,
It's
so
like he's been moving for the
he's...
past week, moving around furniture, moving stuff in. I don't know. It's constantly noisy over there. First choice is Sasquatcho. Second, I like that one personally. Second one, I really should look up different kinds of artists these 2 are, but this one's harder to say. Sasquango. Van Gogh. This might be making fun of those artists, but I don't know their work, and they're great. They're already icons. I like Sasquatcho. So that's what we're calling him. We haven't met him yet. I'm sure he's lovely.
Oh, he's probably a great person. Just...
We're just terrible. So... I mean, it was like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Just something was blasting.
Yeah.
TV, him on the phone. I don't know. Vibrating the walls.
Yeah, floor, walls.
You were snoring. Train was going by. I couldn't sleep. I can't wait.
Give me rain and
waves,
wind, waves, and halyards clanging, and
and some orcas going by with the clicking.
Yeah.
I'll fall asleep to that.
Yeah. Since it seems like they're in the Friday Harbor Marina like all the time. And it's probably even more than what we're seeing, because we're only seeing what people post.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they'll go in and eat the seals. The bigs will.
Mm-hmm.
So. What do I got? Highlight. We moved up again on the wait list.
I did.
We're now number 9. Crazy. 5 people closed their accounts in the last 2 months.
So does that kind of follow the pattern of when people sell their boats? I didn't think so. Does it?
Spring, usually fall and spring are like the biggest times that people sail boats.
Wow.
Could also be maybe they got a different boat or they got a bigger boat or they maybe weren't quite determined on what they wanted yet, and they went to a different marina.
It's just kind of surprising, but I guess I don't remember us moving that much. Well, we got we got on the list.
We started
last
at 27. I think by June, I think we had moved a little bit.
I don't
like not much.
Not much. It was like two
spots or whatever. So
strange, but great, amazing.
Yeah.
9. Keep seeing that number everywhere.
9. Yeah. So that's good vibes.
High hopes.
We got a tentative kind of plan. If we're in a decent spot, if we haven't gotten our slip by September 1st, we are contemplating leaning more towards getting on the winter moorage list for Friday Harbor. So we would be... It's temporary. It's only October through April. But it would kind of get us there, and
avoid traveling in the winter.
And we'd have liveaboard status, and October's like a decent time still weather-wise. So we wouldn't have to really deal with a lot of the craziness of like November, December, like here.
Which isn't bad anyway. It's just cold.
It's just cold, and I mean, if we would have had to move it then, we would. But I think having this option...
They probably do it totally on purpose for this reason. Besides...
I think they also do it for... a lot of people will live on the hook in spring, summer, and fall. Like, they won't really live in a marina. And then they offer this as an option for people that, like, don't want to try to have to deal with traveling around a lot in the winter, because you're going to have to keep moving around with all the adjusting winds.
And you said Seattle does it.
Pretty much most of the marinas around here do like a winter moorage. Blaine doesn't, because they're not big enough.
Yeah.
I don't think, or they just don't.
It doesn't seem like they'd have enough room.
I mean, they would, but they get a lot of visitors.
Well, that's what I mean. It's only that one... that dock where we are on a, it's not big.
Where Friday Harbor, I think it's that whole... Remember the finger all the way on that? You probably don't remember. That we walked down to like the big floating pier where the big abandoned boat was.
No.
So like attached to that big like breakwater, basically that's like all visitor space. Like that whole entire finger.
Oh, where we took pictures?
Yes. That basically like almost like half of that finger is all visitor docks, if not most of that. They reserve for
on both sides. See, that's a lot of room. If you have both sides of a dock, of a finger, we only have the one side.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it goes down. You can fit probably. I mean, it depends on the size of the boat. But that's a tentative plan. I think that's what we really, are gonna do.
If we don't have our slip,
Yeah, and I mean, even if, me talking with the lady in Friday Harbor today, she was like,
Tammy.
if
my friend,
you most likely will have your slip by April if you don't have it by, end of the year. So I was like, I would kind of hope so.
Yeah. The way it's been moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see how we wouldn't. So.
Just the fact that there's been so many orcas in there. And it's really only been the bigs because of the seals. Yeah. Which is totally fine.
Yeah. Orcas are orcas.
Orcas are orcas. Even if they name them different, was it the family? Not the, is it the species or the family? Taxonomy.
They're,
they were gonna
they're
differ.
They're trying to classify them as a subspecies.
Subspecies, yes.
Of orca. But right now, they're just
between the southern residents and the big.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so much bigger, though.
They are. It's because they eat things that eat other things.
Yeah, I guess. Do you really think that's what it is?
Well, I think it's because they have a more bountiful supply.
Yeah.
They eat the seals and other things. They're not just they're not just a diet of fish.
Aren't the orcas? I'm just thinking of Secret of the Whales now on Disney Plus. That big group that turn green in, is it Antarctica or Alaska?
Yeah, wasn't that because of the cold water?
Yes, but they're not very big. They're like similar size to the southern residents.
Oh.
And they're like big pods. I feel like I don't remember what they eat.
Maybe it correlates. Maybe pod size plays a part. Like there's only so much food to go around when you're a giant group. Yeah. Where like the T's mostly stay in
5,
like
6.
like their small family groups. Mm-hmm. So I could see that more food.
Interesting.
I mean, because they have Galileo. He's like one of the biggest orcas in the
Galliano.
region. Or yeah.
Galileo. He looks at the stars. He's got his telescope sitting on his 6-foot
tall dorsal
fin.
It's taller than me.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Low? A low light?
No.
Or an ironic low light? Did I do a low light?
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sasquatcho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my low light is just tired of people. That's just what's
Say
really
more.
been getting to me. Just people are annoying and
do we need to live in a cave?
Sure.
Cave dwellers away from everyone in the darkness with our books and our Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can do that. I would like to say shit about T-Mobile, but I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, it's it's just corporate greed. That's all that is. That's doesn't really have anything to do with. Well, I guess it does have to do with people, but it's just stupid corporate decisions, which I'm not surprised. Is what it is.
T-Mobile trying to make more money.
Yeah, and maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll. Well, maybe it's more of they'll realize that like no one's gonna switch and
switch to a plan. We have to explain.
So T-Mobile is implementing their T-Mobile Away plan for their T-Mobile home internet. Right now, it's $40 a month. Technically, you're supposed to use it in a fixed location. There are people that do not.
Like us.
But we do, though. I think we only brought it to the boat like once.
We've done it a few times.
Maybe twice. And basically they are turning on what's called geofencing. So they're going to turn on the GPS chips and all of the modems, and then they'll be able to see your location, and then they'll be able to see if you leave that location that they're going to turn your gateway off. They will actually turn your gateway off, and then they will basically tell you to send it back, and they'll cancel your plan, and then you can't remake it.
It's so funny how everyone's getting so strict with all this kind of stuff.
Well, I think the problem,
oh boy,
to be honest, and the reason that they're doing this is because of people. Because all over YouTube, you see all these people talking about, I use T-Mobile home internet on the road. I'm a truck driver. Or, I'm in an RV, da-da-da. I mean, they never designed a plant. They never designed them to do that. I mean, yeah, they do it because they're basically just a fancy cell phone with a SIM card. That's
and an antenna.
That's basically what it is. It's just a cell phone in a box, basically. That has Wi-Fi antennas hooked up to it. Like, But I think it's the fact that everyone's flaunting it. And I think it's also the fact that they're trying to kind of upgrade the channels and some of the stuff that it like, and the way that it pulls internet from the towers.
Oh, so they are going to improve it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which they already have. They already have switched over like some of the bands and stuff, so you get faster internet.
Oh, that's good to know.
Like, we've been getting 100 megs down more than we were getting like 2 months ago.
Huh.
But part of the problem is because some of the towers in the more rural areas are getting congested. And I think they're starting to notice that there's a pattern because they can see what towers your device is connecting to, right? So they're starting to see a lot of T-Mobile home internet numbers from towers that they technically shouldn't be on. They're like, hey, we're going to, charge for this. Which I'm not mad at them for actually coming up with a plan, because they did need to come up with an actual, like, hey, to kind of rival Starlink and like some of those, like Verizon, like a lot of those other.
Do they have a moving away plan?
No, theirs is locked. Theirs is like
that's what I
literally
figured.
locked. Like you can't move it from the location. Like it will just not work.
Okay.
More trying to rival Starlink, I think, in Amazon, and trying to give a more viable option that's not $600 for a dish, and something that's not as power hungry. I mean, realistically, it's cheaper than Starlink.
Yeah.
Because Starlink is $150 before taxes.
Before taxes?
Yeah. So like after taxes and fees and shit, you pay more to almost $200.
And you're paying up front like for $600 to get the dishes.
To get the dish and the router and stuff.
And you can't even rent those.
Nope. Where it's the modem's included. It's free. You can plug in your own router. Like we have our own router plugged in that handles all the Wi-Fi. And it's only $10 more.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of crazy.
And plus, for it to be truly unlimited, like they're not going to throttle you, and you can use it anywhere in the US that you have a 5G signal. I think it might be on the lower band. Like they're not going to have you on like the new channel, but you'll be on like the older channel. But it doesn't matter because it's still going to get good service.
I don't get how Starlink thinks they can charge that much for all their shit.
Well, I think it's because I think it's more because you're buying the equipment. You're not like renting it. You're paying $600 and then that's your equipment.
But like now that we know that, but they're different because Starlink uses satellites in space.
Yes. And this uses cell phone towers.
Yeah.
So here, it's fine. Like in the San Juans, it's fine. Like we'll have great service like no matter where we go. It's just if we try to go to Canada, we won't have internet.
Yes.
Or out of Washington.
And the thing with Starlink is his goal, Elon, he wants people everywhere to be able to have internet.
Yeah, and like he does have a deal, at least with T-Mobile now. Him and T-Mobile struck a deal where T-Mobile phones will be able to talk to Starlink satellites to at least get phone service. You won't be able to get internet, but you'll at least be able to get be able to make like text messages and calls in an area where you normally would not, where like, let's say complete middle of nowhere, there's no cell service. You would at least be able to get service from a Starlink satellite.
Did they do that with any other company?
Mm-mm.
Oh, T-Mobile's the first one? Oh, that's cool.
I think T-Mobile is going to be the only one.
Which is
because
silly.
Starlink basically partnered with them.
Wonder why. Of all the companies.
There was a whole reason why. I think because they're more prevalent out here.
Yeah.
And it's just easier to
test.
And
we've got the freaking boating community out here. I guess more than the South. Is that true? Was that the consensus?
What?
Like more of like a live aboard community. Isn't this like the biggest community out here?
The Sound?
Yeah.
I think so. Somewhere. Yeah, I think it is one of the bigger
Fact checker. We don't have one. We don't have a fact checker.
No, we're our own fact checkers.
We have our intuition. Wow.
Yeah.
That was some green shit right there.
There's your green tech for the day.
Wow. Usually
Now,
that makes me glaze, but I don't mind that.
Now, the Starlink tech is cool.
It is cool.
And I think eventually we'll get it, just not right now. We're just not.
There's no need right now.
No.
We don't have the battery banks ready, not that high of a thing. We're not ready.
I mean our battery capacity could easily support it.
Okay. You said last week that it wouldn't be able to. I get different answers every day.
Without solar, it would be.
Okay, we don't have solar yet. What is happening? What do I have here? Oh, well, wait a minute. Let me do my Orca update.
Yes, Orca update.
Okay, update. So, brave little hunter, I'm going to butcher her name again, Quaisa something along those lines. Love it. She made her way out of the lagoon by her. They didn't have to airlift her. It was by herself. I don't know if they lured her with food.
The day before she got out, they helped show her the way out. Because I think that was part of the problem. She didn't understand how to get out.
Oh, sure.
So they helped guide her and show her the way out. She ended up not going. She couldn't go all the way through because of the current at the time.
Oh yeah, the rapids.
But yes. She remembered the way out. So later that night, early morning.
This was Saturday?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
The next day they went down to see her, and she was gone.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, she must have.
I haven't looked yet today, but I'm hoping maybe if she was sticking around, her family wasn't out there yet. They hadn't been able to find her pod again, and so hopefully they met up with her.
No one's seen her.
Oh, no one's seen her.
But they basically the Canadian Coast Guard has basically cordoned off that area. Oh, they've made it like a no boat zone for a little while. To try to give her time to find her family and not have to deal with boats
and all the sounds and stuff. Yeah, she's probably trying to call to them. Yeah, and might be too far. Yeah. I'm gonna assume that they didn't get too far, but
yeah, I would kind of would have thought they would have been hanging around.
Kind of still. Yeah. I mean, it was a month. I don't know. I hope.
So if you haven't noticed on our show, we talk a lot about mental health and our states of mind, good, bad, ugly, weird, whatever. And both of us have attributed a lot of our self-growth, I think, to using CBD. So, I mean, there was a big chunk of my young adult life not too long ago where I really, really just felt so out of my brain, just racing thoughts constantly, and I turned to CBD and it really stabled things out. Unbelievable. I'm no doctor, but it freaking worked. And I'll stand by it. I tell all my friends, try CBD, just give it a shot. You don't have to be scared. You're not going to get high from taking a gummy with no THC in it. So, I mean, CBD for life. I highly suggest giving them a try if you're having any, concerns about your mental health in the way of racing thoughts, anxiety, just strictly those two. Like I said, not a medical professional, but, this stuff does work. And it made me feel really better, and it cleared things up and helped me figure out what I needed to do to even more improve my mental health. At least it got me to that state of mind. CBD for life. They have gummies, creams, roll-ons, and tinctures, kind of everything typically you need to do CBD. Their prices are pretty decent. Everything pretty much ranges, all the popular stuff at least, from $20 to $40. Free shipping over $90 within the US. I mean, from what I can tell, they're looking pretty great compared to a lot of other brands. Sorry, guys. They have really good prices, and I mean, I won't say that I'm against Big Pharma. I'm going to say a little bit. Just try other things first before you go to the hard stuff, like CBD. I know, preaching to the choir. So, enjoy, give it a try. Merry, happy holiday, hoobie buddy. Bye-bye.
You know, they get her fixed up with another pod.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a female.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that will help her case.
It might.
Because a lot of males, they end up going around by themselves,
Mm.
unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how they work. And then they meet up with other males sometimes and make their own little pods.
Yep.
But yeah, so she is out, and I kind of wanted to talk about, I've been like deep diving, I think I've told you, into the chakras and instruments and music and what heals, what instruments and sounds heal the specific chakras.
Mm-hmm.
So this is crazy. So they had people playing instruments. Did you see any of those videos? They had people like trying to serenade her to get her to go in the right direction.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they had a violinist playing. Her name was Carol Love.
Uh-huh.
And it's so funny because violins and like plucked strings, that activates and unblocks the heartstring.
Oh.
Isn't that funny? So there's a couple videos on YouTube that you can watch. She's trying to serenade Chrysaeus, and I just think it's so cool how I don't even know what made me look into this stuff. I just was seeing like, where can I unblock things? And so there's articles all over, but like I'll go them through quick. So the root chakra, you can unblock that with hang on, I have the list here.
Yeah, it's on your phone, isn't it?
Yes, I saved it all. Okay, so the root chakra, that can be unblocked by drums.
Okay.
The sacral chakra can be unblocked by wind instruments. That's the saxophone, trumpets.
Mm-hmm.
Solar plexus chakra can be unblocked by just normal strings. So like not plucked. So like violins, specifically cellos, all that stuff. Yeah, guitar. Well, no, see, there's a difference. So guitar would be more plucked. So that's heart strings. Okay. No, that's the heart chakra.
What about piano?
Piano. That's in there too. Is the heart chakra. So plucked strings or piano. And what else do we have? The throat chakra, you can listen to the flute, and that'll help unblock that, which it definitely, so strange, because flute, I mean, that's a wind, but it's just that specific tone of what the flute brings. It's just like kind of like a higher pitch. It's way, way different than a saxophone.
Huh.
So different sounding. So it kind of makes sense. Then we got the third eye chakra and the bells. Bells influence that one. Unblock that. So like I think of like when you hear fairies talk in movies, like bells. I found this really cool video of someone doing a cover. I think I might have sent it to you. Of one of Adele's songs, but it's all bells. Wild. Cool. Like a whole chorus of bells. All doing like different tones. It's crazy. How coordinated do they have to be? And then we've got the last one, the crown chakra. This hurts my head. Conch, like the fucking magic conch, SpongeBob.
Yeah.
That's what activates the crown chakra.
Oh.
I have tried to listen to YouTube videos of this. It makes my whole head hurt.
Huh.
And I don't know what that means.
What's the crown chakra?
That's like literally like top of your head.
No, but like what?
Oh.
Because like they're all attached. They're all like they all
attached
mean
like
something,
yes,
right?
I should have put that in there. I have it written. No, well I have it all written. It's just like okay. So The crown chakra, that kind of connects everything, like all the other chakras.
Oh, okay.
So hold on, let me go back. Here we go.
I'm asking hard questions over here.
Okay, root chakra, that helps you feel grounded. The sacral chakra helps with creativity. Yellow, I have them with the colors too. The solar plexus, that helps with self-esteem. The heart chakra, that's for love. Throat chakra is for communication. The intuitive third eye chakra, intuition. And then, the purple violet, that's
third eye chakra.
connection. So pretty much what you can read consensus is if one is out of whack, the other ones kind of will be, but I think it goes from bottom to top.
Okay, that makes sense.
But like I've just noticed that when my sacral chakra is a little out of whack, it only goes up one. So then my solar plexus gets a little out of whack. But it doesn't really go down, I've noticed.
Okay.
I guess it could, but I don't know.
Huh.
Interesting. That was related to the organs because of the instruments.
Tangent.
What do I have? What is happening in what the fuck is making me go crazy? Oh, well, I have something little that isn't very important, but it kind of bothers me.
What bothers you?
What
What's going
bothers
on?
me? I want to know what's happening to where, we have these evolutions of technology in the world, but yet we don't change simple things to then correlate with what we're learning to make the world better. So this could not be a thing anymore. But when the little home inspector did our inspection here for the possible buyer of this place, didn't know that tarp was a thing that's kept at the bottom of the foundation of the fucking house. Tarp, fully made of plastic, that just is probably seeping into the soils and then going into the oceans as runoff, and particles, all the particles from the tarp. I don't understand. What's the purpose? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's more to...
Because we heard the guy walking around the bottom below our feet
underneath.
in the crawl spaces looking at the foundation of the house. And we heard the tarp moving. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, a tarp is supposed to repel water or protect things. So I could see them using it for if a pipe bursts and you get water underneath your house. It's just gonna all sit in the tarp and not really soak into the ground.
But why is it a bad thing if it soaks into the ground?
Because possibly depending on what kind of soil you're on, you could have issues where your foundation starts sinking or certain things that you don't want to happen. And plus, I think it's more of
But then it's just sitting there.
I don't know how common it is realistically to have tarp in a crawl space. Our crawl space never had tarps in it.
Okay, that's good.
I think it might be more of a they do it out of convenience. So if you have to go down there and check, you're not crawling on your hands and knees through potential muck and mud and everything else. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best thing for the environment, but
I just wonder. I wonder if that's still going on, with new houses being built. What else could they put there? Or nothing. Do we really need people going to check?
no, it's just I think a lot of houses here. I think it's very rare to have basements here.
Yes.
I think because I could see it because it's earthquake country.
Even here?
What?
Here?
What do you mean here?
Earthquake country?
Yeah, Washington State's on a fault line.
Oh, that's right.
The whole Cascades
We
is a
talked
fault
about
line.
this. I don't like to think about it.
So I could see basements not being a thing. Maybe they are, but at least in this house, there's no basement.
Garages aren't a thing either.
But I mean, they are. Like there are a lot of houses that have garages. It's just I don't think they're as common. One here because it's houses are closer together. So needing to have that extra space for a garage, plus the weather, it doesn't really get. It stays pretty temperate, like pretty mild the whole year. Here, you're not really dealing with crazy snow and ice that could damage a car. You're not dealing with
at least
intense,
5 years
crazy,
ago you
yeah.
weren't.
You're not dealing with like 90 to 100-degree weather for days on end that can peel the paint off your car and hail and it's a lot of the newer houses I'm seeing garages, but a lot of the older places like this is an older place. There is a garage. It's detached.
Oh yeah, behind us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I see a lot of that too. I
Detached
see a lot
garages.
more detached garages here than attached.
Huh. Okay. Next. What you got? What is happening? What's driving you crazy?
I guess it's been driving me crazy for a while. But just how broken our medical system is. Especially seems more for women than men. I think men have issues too, but so my mom has been having health issues for the last year and a half now.
Yeah.
And finally, as of this week, we have a potential diagnosis. At least like preliminary testing has come back positive. But it just amazes me how long it took. Which I know, like a lot of people dealing with the disease that she has, the average is 12 to 15 years to get diagnosed.
Awful.
Which is just disgusting to me. Like I don't know. This whole thing has it was already kind of shaky before, but it's completely, at least in the US medical system, completely destroyed any trust I had with. I think part of it is seeing not how corrupt, but just how lacking our medical system actually is, and how there are doctors out there that don't care.
So many.
Like, which it just baffles me. Like, you go into a career that is about helping people, and you go to school for so long. What is it? Like 10 years almost?
Something.
I think
stupid.
To become like an actual like doctor, like in some sort of field. And
you don't care.
Yet you have someone coming in with symptoms that you're not sure what they are, but then you just don't care. You just say, "Oh, well, it may be this, but I don't care." Or just don't even see them. Like it's just disgusts
me. It really is unfortunate.
And like I'm like happy that she finally has some sort of diagnosis, and now we know what's going on and what's causing everything, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck? You know, it took this long and this many tests and
hunches
and all that she's been through and gone through and everything. And now, you know, we have something, but now it's going to be that battle of getting her back to somewhat, I mean,
stability.
she's not stable now. I mean, she is, but she isn't, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, and I think part of it's the South. Do better.
We'll say it till we fucking die. You couldn't pay us any amount of money.
No.
To live.
No. The only reason that I would ever even consider living there temporarily is if I was the last family member left and one of my like family members down there was like dying and needed someone to take care of them, then yeah, but it only would be temporary. That's just family that's listening. I love you guys, but no. I'm sorry. You know, and I, which we've talked about this, but not on the podcast. Just, I think part of it too is small towns, small rural areas,
which
just,
we're in.
Which we're in, but we're close to a big metropolitan area, right? Like we're close to Bellingham, which is huge.
And that's only 20 minutes away.
I mean, Bellingham is what? Almost 100,000 people?
Has a hospital,
and
right?
That's 30 minutes away. And if not, we're literally like 45 minutes from Seattle by air.
By air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if God forbid you need to be airlifted, you're like 45, 50 minutes away, like by helicopter to Seattle, which probably has some of the most, I haven't looked up this, but I'm betting probably some of the better hospitals like in the country with how high tech of an area here is.
Yeah. Here.
You know, like
yes.
it, you know, we're there. I mean, the closest for them is 3 hours
for a big
4-hour drive for a big hospital.
Yeah. This is why we're gonna play the visa game.
And move to Europe. Not tomorrow. But
it's nothing matters. It's just also like, this is a very broad statement, but you know what? Nothing fucking matters. Like, do what you want to do.
Yeah, live your life.
Live your fucking life. Go where you want to go. Spend all your savings and just do it, because we're all gonna burn alive.
And also the fact too, like most people work until they're 80. Oh, I'd say what average retirement age is probably what 70 at this point.
Right now, yeah, I'd say 70.
So you work for 70 years.
Okay, more like,
well, not 70. Sorry,
50.
You work for, let's say, 50 years. Let's say 55. Let's say you start
out
working
of the womb and you're at a desk.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, you know, some people want. You know, let's say you start working like 15, 16, right? So you're working for over 50 years.
At a job that you probably hate.
For what?
For what?
To retire and not be able to afford to live anywhere because...
And be too decrepit.
Yeah, and be too old and you know, decrepit, at least in the U.S., to be able to, you know, go somewhere and do something for what? Another 30 years of your life? If that. Maybe what? Maybe 20 if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's pushing it.
And maybe like of actual being able to travel, let's say 10.
Travel solo too, because you're gonna need some assistance getting up there.
Yeah,
eventually. know,
you know,
man.
it's just no.
We're in a time where this whole mentality is dying.
What?
Work till you can't
Oh,
work
yeah.
anymore, and then just be a vegetable. It's going away. It's
Yeah,
going away because we're all saying, no, fuck that.
I think COVID
Yes.
was a big slap in the face in a good way to
Mhm.
some people. Like, hey, I got laid off from this job, but you know what? I didn't like that job. And, you know, I don't want to live like this anymore. Like,
And I don't have to.
yeah, I can go do what I want to do. And if that's living in a van down by the river, well, god damn it, I'm going to do it.
Down by the river.
I actually saw a meme yesterday that was, you know, because when did that come out? Probably
Oh
what?
my God.
80s?
Chris Farley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
80s?
Early 90s, 80s, yeah.
So 30 years ago, you know, they saw in a van down by the river. You know, they saw that as a bad thing. And now there are people that like, that is their goal. Is to literally trick out a van and live down by the river. Because now, 30 years later, we have the technology to live a mobile nomadic lifestyle
Comfortably.
and not sacrifice any creature comforts that you normally would get in like a normal house.
Mm-hmm.
Like at all, really.
And this is something anybody can do.
Yeah.
You can have a family and do this.
You can work and still do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that do it all the time. You know, you don't have to quit your job and start your own business. No.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be living on the boat and I'm still going to be working like a normal job for now. But, you know.
So there really isn't really an excuse. You know, I guess, okay, if we're being realistic, and if I had to do this, I would probably live in like a small, tiny trailer that wouldn't move, that I couldn't drive.
Yeah.
And very simply. Because,
Yeah.
like, I mean, if that's how I had to do it, anybody could do that.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, you don't need the technical knowledge. You don't need any of the DIY. There's companies now that have built their name on doing conversions and all this for you. Yeah, you're gonna pay the money,
but then you're gonna get it all back.
You might be paying a little bit more than if you were to do it all yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, you can go to a company and say, "Hey, I want a tiny house, you know, on a trailer, so I can move it and like plant it somewhere." You know, that has everything that I want in it for probably, I'd say, probably under 25 grand.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're doing it where you're living completely off the grid, like more of an off-grid lifestyle, the only thing you have to buy besides that is the land. And everything else, or you don't even need to own land. You just need to know somebody that owns land.
Yeah.
That has enough space that's willing to rent you a little parcel,
mm-hmm.
you know, of that land, you know, let you live on their land. Because you won't, if you do it correctly, you won't need any, I mean, you can do rainwater filtration, solar. There's so much technology out there now that you don't need to be on the grid, so to speak.
And the only real sacrifices are the things that you'll notice the most are like space, and you'll just have to be more conscious of what you're bringing into your life material wise. It's
But
once you get past that alone is eye-opening.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that plenty of times. Minimalism is very, you really figure out what the hell is important to you. What you're willing to
give up,
keep with you. I mean, it's a very revolutionary in like a spiritual growth aspect. I know it's kind of preachy, but it's true. So, fuck it. Do it. Spend all your savings. Go build a tiny home. Get a van. Get a boat. Join us.
RV.
RV.
Travel trailer. Tiny house. I mean, do what you want to do, you know? I mean, I will say the one thing, which if I was not already in love with sailing and already had been like a calling to the water and the ocean and lived around it my whole life and just, have had this dream of, sailing and living on a boat for a while now. If I were to do it from scratch, I would go more of probably land-based.
Like RV or tiny home?
Probably almost more schooly conversion.
Oh, okay.
Where like RV, still that nomadic, like not really staying in one place for too long. Kind of lifestyle, like either a schoolie or a van or ambulance or, maybe even an RV. Because realistically, a boat brings more danger in a way.
Yeah.
If you get a hole in your boat, it sinks and you lost your home. If you get a hole in your RV, it might necessarily not be the end of the world. Like, you can get another RV or you can fix the hole. Which, granted, with boats, yes, you can fix the hole, but
if a shark bites into your boat and makes a hole, you're kind of sunk in a ditch.
But at the same time, I guess the one thing that's always drawn me about the whole kind of sailing, living on a boat lifestyle is you're closer to nature in a way, especially on a sailboat, which, like, I think we've talked about this. Like, you're able to really be free from society and not have to conform at all to what society, like, thinks of you.
In regards to what?
So, like, even in an RV or like any sort of nomadic, like, on land lifestyle, you still have to deal with normal civilization things, right? You have to deal with, the rules of the road. You have to deal with other people, which you do in, like, the boating community too. But, like, you have to worry about, oh, am I going to run out of gas today? Or, oh, I want to go to Yellowstone, but wait, to get there, I have to go through a giant city, right? To get to where I want to go. So then you're bringing in the dangers of that part of society, of big city and all that, and being really still reliant on, I guess, society in a way. Like, granted, on a sailboat, yes, you're reliant on society.
You need the gas sometimes. You need to get food.
But you can do it you're not having to go into big cities. If you really don't want to.
You don't have to go through things to get often to other destinations.
I guess living that nomadic, you don't, right? Like, living a nomadic lifestyle, even on land. But I feel like it's harder to try and go around those big cities than it is to just go through it and stock up and do whatever, and I feel like on a sailboat, I don't know. You're not as tied to civilization like you are, but you aren't.
Because you're on the water, and there's no property taxes on the water.
Yeah, no. And you technically don't need a motor if you really
aren't in a hurry to get anywhere.
Really, like, if something happens, your motor breaks, you're out on anchor, something's going on with your motor, you can't get it to start. As long as you got good wind, you can get anywhere. It may take 2 days.
Months.
But I guess in my sense, I take that sacrifice than being like, oh my God,
I'm going to run out of gas.
I'm going to run out of gas tomorrow and the nearest gas station is 40 miles away. Or, oh my God, my engine broke. Now I'm stuck, wherever for the next 3 months while I wait on a shop to fix my motor because I don't have the skills to do it. Where, granted, you may still wait that long on a sailboat to get your motor fixed if you don't have, the knowledge or the know-how to fix it. But you at least have an alternate means of getting to your next destination.
Yeah.
So
Where are we?
that's my little rant on water living versus
Land living.
you landlubbers out there. Oh, we're at 57 minutes.
Ooh, time to go. Thank you for
Okay,
listening.
bye-bye,
Like,
guys.
subscribe. Bye.
Bye.